What if I told you that something you do every single night could be silently increasing your risk of sudden death while you sleep? Before we begin, I want you to leave a comment below telling me where you're watching this video from, your city, your country. This creates a wonderful connection between us, and I love knowing where my health family is located around the world. My name is Dr. Vasconcelos, and in my 30 years of medical practice, I have witnessed too many unexpected deaths. That could have been prevented if people had understood this critical information I'm about to share with you today. You see, every night when you lay your head on that pillow, thinking you're safe and resting, your body enters a complex biological process that can either heal you or harm you. Most people believe that sleep is simply a time when nothing happens, when your body just shuts down. But this couldn't be further from the truth. During those precious hours of rest, your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, your nervous system, and your hormonal balance all work in perfect harmony, or they should. When this harmony breaks down, the consequences can be fatal. The statistics are alarming, and I need you to understand this clearly. Studies show that more heart attacks occur between midnight and 6 in the morning than at any other time of day. Sudden cardiac death peaks during these early morning hours, and stroke risk increases by 40% during sleep. But here's what medical professionals don't always tell you. These aren't random events. They're the result of specific changes that happen in your body overnight, changes that you can influence and control. Your blood pressure naturally drops during healthy sleep, a phenomenon we call nocturnal dipping. This drop should be between 10 to 20% of your daytime readings. However, when this doesn't happen properly, when your blood pressure remains elevated throughout the night, you become what we call a non-dipper. Non-dippers have a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular events, kidney disease, and yes, sudden death during sleep. The scary part is that most people have no idea whether they're dippers or non-dippers. Your heart rate also changes dramatically during sleep cycles. During deep sleep, your heart rate should slow down, giving your cardiovascular system time to recover from the day's stress. But when this recovery doesn't happen, when your heart continues to work, over time, even during rest, the cumulative damage builds up night after night. This is where the danger lies hidden, in the quiet hours when you think you're safe. But there's something even more dangerous that happens during these vulnerable hours, something that could change everything you think you know about sleep safety. What I'm about to reveal now will shock you, and it might be the most important information you'll hear today. During sleep, your body experiences something called sleep apnea episodes, but not everyone realizes they have this condition. Sleep apnea isn't just about snoring loudly or feeling tired the next day. It's a serious medical condition where your breathing stops repeatedly throughout the night, sometimes for 30 seconds or longer, hundreds of times per night. When your breathing stops, your oxygen levels plummet. Your brain, sensing danger, sends emergency signals throughout your body. Your blood pressure spikes dramatically, sometimes reaching dangerous levels that would require immediate medical attention if you were awake. Your heart races, trying to compensate for the lack of oxygen. This happens over and over, night after night, creating a pattern of stress that your cardiovascular system was never designed to handle. The most frightening part about sleep apnea is how it damages your heart silently. Each apnea episode creates what we call reperfusion injury. When oxygen returns to your tissues after being deprived, it actually causes cellular damage similar to what happens during a heart attack. This repeated injury leads to inflammation, oxidative stress, and progressive damage to your heart muscle and blood vessels. But here's what almost nobody knows. Sleep apnea doesn't just affect overweight men who snore loudly, as many people believe. It affects women, especially after menopause when protective hormones decline. It affects people of normal weight. It can even affect children. The condition often goes undiagnosed because people don't recognize the subtle symptoms, or they dismiss them as normal aging. If you've ever woken up with a headache, if you feel exhausted even after what seemed like a full night's sleep, if you find yourself falling asleep during the day, if your partner says you stop breathing during sleep, you could be experiencing sleep apnea. More importantly, if you have high blood pressure that doesn't respond well to medication, if you have irregular heartbeats, or if you've had unexplained heart problems, sleep apnea might be the hidden culprit. The connection between sleep apnea and sudden death is so strong that untreated severe sleep apnea increases your risk of dying in your sleep by 3 to 4 times compared to people without the condition. Think about that number. 3 to 4 times higher risk of death. This isn't something you can ignore or hope will go away on its own. But sleep apnea is just one piece of this dangerous puzzle. There's another factor that works hand in hand with breathing problems to create the perfect storm for overnight health emergencies. And when you understand this connection, everything will make sense. Now let's talk about something that happens in every single person's body during sleep, but becomes dangerous when it goes wrong: your blood sugar regulation. During the night, your body goes through complex hormonal changes that affect how you process glucose, and these changes can literally mean the difference between waking up healthy or not waking up at all. Around 3 to 4 in the morning, your body naturally releases hormones like cortisol, growth hormone, and adrenaline to prepare you for waking up. This is called the dawn phenomenon. In healthy individuals, the pancreas responds by producing just enough insulin to keep blood sugar stable. But when this system malfunctions, blood sugar can spike to dangerous levels or drop to life-threatening lows, both scenarios that can trigger fatal events during sleep. Here's where it gets really dangerous. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, even if you don't know it yet, these overnight blood sugar swings become extreme. High blood sugar during sleep increases inflammation throughout your body, damages blood vessels, and makes your blood more likely to clot. This combination significantly increases your risk of heart attack and stroke during those vulnerable nighttime hours. But low blood sugar during sleep, called nocturnal hypoglycemia, might be even more immediately dangerous. When your blood sugar drops too low while you're sleeping, your brain doesn't get the fuel it needs to function properly. Your body releases stress hormones to try to raise blood sugar, but these hormones also increase heart rate and blood pressure dramatically. In some cases, blood sugar drops so low that it triggers irregular heartbeats or cardiac arrest. The scary truth is that millions of people experience dangerous blood sugar fluctuations during sleep. Without knowing it, they might wake up with headaches, feel dizzy upon standing, or experience night sweats, but they dismiss these symptoms as normal. Meanwhile, their bodies are fighting a nightly battle that's slowly damaging their cardiovascular system and increasing their risk of sudden death. What makes this even more concerning is how poor sleep quality worsens blood sugar control, creating a vicious cycle. When you don't get quality sleep, your cells become resistant to insulin, making it harder to control blood sugar the next day and night. This insulin resistance then disrupts sleep quality further, creating more blood sugar instability. Night after night, this cycle continues, each revolution making the situation more dangerous. If you've ever woken up feeling like you've been hit by a truck, if you experience unexplained night sweats, if you find yourself extremely thirsty in the middle of the night or upon waking, your blood sugar might be putting your life at risk while you sleep. But before you panic, I want you to know that understanding these mechanisms is the first step toward protecting yourself. However, there's still another crucial factor we haven't discussed yet, one that ties everything together in a way that might surprise you. What I'm about to reveal next shows how your sleeping position and environment can either protect you from these dangers or make them infinitely worse. Your sleeping position and bedroom environment play a crucial role in determining whether you'll survive the night safely, and most people have no idea how these seemingly simple factors can become matters of life and death. The way you position your body during sleep directly affects your breathing, circulation, heart function, and even your brain's ability to clear toxic waste products that accumulate during the day. Let's start with something most people never consider: sleeping on your back. While this might seem like a natural, comfortable position, for millions of people it's extremely dangerous. When you lie on your back, gravity pulls your tongue and soft tissues backward, partially blocking your airway. This restriction makes sleep apnea episodes worse and more frequent. If you already have breathing problems during sleep, lying on your back can turn mild apnea into severe, life-threatening episodes. But here's what's even more concerning. Sleeping on your back also affects your heart function. Your heart has to work harder to pump blood against gravity when you're lying flat. For people with heart conditions, this extra workload can be the difference between a peaceful night and a cardiac emergency. Studies show that people with heart failure who sleep on their backs have more irregular heartbeats and worse oxygen levels throughout the night. The elevation of your head and upper body is critical for safe sleep. When your head is too low or completely flat, blood flow to your brain changes dramatically. This altered blood flow can increase pressure inside your skull, worsen sleep apnea, and interfere with your brain's natural cleaning process that happens during deep sleep. Your brain literally washes away toxic proteins during sleep, but this process requires proper positioning to work effectively. Now let's talk about your bedroom temperature, because this is where many people unknowingly put themselves at risk. Your body temperature naturally drops as you fall asleep. This cooling is essential for triggering deep, restorative sleep stages. However, if your bedroom is too hot, your body can't achieve this necessary cooling. When your core temperature remains elevated during sleep, it disrupts your sleep cycles, increases inflammation, and puts extra stress on your cardiovascular system. On the other hand, sleeping in an environment that's too cold forces your body to work harder to maintain core temperature. This extra work increases your heart rate, blood pressure, and oxygen consumption throughout the night. For people with heart conditions, this additional stress can trigger dangerous events. The optimal bedroom temperature for safe sleep is between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, but most people sleep in environments that are either too hot or too cold. Humidity levels in your bedroom also affect your breathing and circulation during sleep. Air that's too dry irritates your respiratory passages, making breathing more difficult and worsening sleep apnea. Air that's too humid can harbor mold and allergens that trigger inflammatory responses throughout the night. The ideal humidity level for safe sleep is between 40 and 60%, but most people have never measured the humidity in their bedrooms. Have you ever considered how these factors might be affecting your sleep right now? Think about your current sleeping position, the temperature of your bedroom, the elevation of your head. Could these simple environmental factors be contributing to morning headaches, fatigue, or other symptoms you've been experiencing? But environmental factors are just one part of this complex picture. There's something happening at the cellular level during sleep that's even more fundamental to your survival, and understanding this process will change how you think about every night's rest. At the cellular level, your body undergoes a remarkable transformation during sleep that most people never learn about. But understanding this process is essential for comprehending why. Some people don't survive the night. During sleep, your cells switch into repair and regeneration mode, but this process requires precise coordination between multiple systems, and when this coordination breaks down, the consequences can be fatal. Your cardiovascular system experiences dramatic changes during different sleep stages. During REM sleep, when you dream most vividly, your blood pressure and heart rate can fluctuate wildly. This is normal and healthy for most people, but if you have underlying heart disease, these fluctuations can trigger dangerous arrhythmias or heart attacks. The transition between sleep stages is particularly vulnerable. Your autonomic nervous system has to constantly adjust to maintain stability, and sometimes these adjustments fail. Here's something that will shock you. During deep sleep, your breathing rate can drop to as low as 12 breaths per minute, and your heart rate might slow to 40 beats per minute or less. For healthy individuals, this is restorative and healing. But for people with compromised cardiovascular or respiratory systems, these dramatic decreases can be dangerous. If your heart is already struggling, slowing down too much during sleep can cause it to stop entirely. The relationship between sleep and inflammation is another critical factor that determines overnight survival. During healthy sleep, your body produces powerful anti-inflammatory substances that repair damage from daily stress. However, when sleep quality is poor, inflammatory markers increase dramatically. This inflammation doesn't just make you feel tired, it actively damages blood vessels, increases clotting risk, and makes dangerous plaques in your arteries more likely to rupture, causing heart attacks and strokes. Your lymphatic system, which acts as your body's garbage disposal, becomes incredibly active during sleep. This system clears waste products from your brain and other tissues, including toxic proteins associated with neurological diseases. But this cleaning process requires deep, uninterrupted sleep to work properly. When sleep is fragmented by breathing problems, blood sugar fluctuations, or environmental factors, waste products accumulate, leading to cellular damage and increased disease risk. During sleep, your body also produces crucial hormones that regulate everything from growth and repair to immune function and stress response. Growth hormone, which is essential for tissue repair and regeneration, is primarily released during deep sleep. If you're not getting adequate deep sleep, your body can't properly repair daily damage, leading to accelerated aging and increased vulnerability to acute health events. The timing of these hormonal releases is critical. Melatonin production peaks in the early evening and gradually declines toward morning, helping regulate your circadian rhythm. Cortisol levels should be lowest around midnight and begin rising before dawn. When this hormonal orchestra is disrupted by poor sleep habits, irregular schedules, or underlying health conditions, it creates chaos throughout your body that can culminate in life-threatening events. Your immune system also follows a strict nighttime schedule. Certain immune cells become more active during sleep, patrolling your body for threats and repairing damage. When this immune surveillance is compromised by poor sleep quality, your body becomes more vulnerable not just to infections, but to the acute complications of chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes. Think about this. Every single night, your body performs thousands of precisely timed biological processes that keep you alive. When even one of these processes goes wrong, it can trigger a cascade of events leading to sudden death during sleep. But here's what gives me hope as a physician. Most of these processes can be optimized and protected through understanding and action. However, there's one more critical factor we need to discuss, something that connects all these biological processes and determines whether they work harmoniously or destructively. This next revelation about medication timing and interactions during sleep might be the most important information in this entire discussion. The medications you take and when you take them can dramatically influence your risk of dying during sleep, and this is an area where even well-meaning healthcare providers sometimes give guidance that inadvertently increases overnight dangers. Every medication has a specific half-life and peak effectiveness time, and understanding how these timing factors interact with your natural sleep physiology can literally be a matter of life and death. Blood pressure medications present a particularly complex challenge. Many people take these medications in the morning because that's when they remember, or because their doctor suggested it fits better with their daily routine. However, research shows that for many people, taking blood pressure medications at bedtime provides better overnight protection. When blood pressure medications peak during your natural nighttime dip, they can help ensure your blood pressure drops appropriately, reducing stress on your cardiovascular system during those vulnerable sleep hours. But here's where it gets dangerous. If you take too much blood pressure medication, or the wrong type for nighttime use, your blood pressure can drop too low during sleep, a condition called nocturnal hypertension. When blood pressure drops excessively during sleep, your brain and heart don't get adequate blood flow, potentially triggering strokes or heart attacks. This is why medication timing requires careful medical supervision and monitoring. Diabetes medications present similar challenges with potentially fatal consequences. If you take insulin or medications that lower blood sugar, the timing of your last dose relative to your bedtime and last meal is crucial. Take too much too close to bedtime without adequate food, and your blood sugar can plummet to dangerous levels while you sleep. Your body might not wake you up in time to address severe hypoglycemia, especially if you take medications that affect your ability to sense low blood sugar symptoms. Sleep medications and anxiety medications deserve special attention because they directly affect the very systems we've been discussing. These medications can suppress your natural breathing reflexes, making sleep apnea worse and more dangerous. They can also interfere with your body's natural ability to wake up in response to breathing problems or other emergencies. What seems like a harmless sleep aid might be preventing your body from protecting itself during critical moments. Heart medications like beta blockers, which slow your heart rate, can be life-saving during the day, but potentially dangerous during sleep if not properly managed. Remember, your heart rate naturally slows during sleep, and if medications cause it to slow too, your heart might not be able to respond appropriately to the stress of sleep apnea episodes or other nighttime emergencies. Even seemingly innocent over-the-counter medications can create overnight dangers. Pain medications can suppress breathing. Antacids can interfere with medication absorption, and decongestants can raise blood pressure to dangerous levels during sleep. The combination of multiple medications creates complex interactions that most people never consider, but that can have fatal consequences. Here's something most people don't know. Your liver processes medications differently during sleep. Your liver's ability to metabolize drugs follows a circadian rhythm, meaning medications taken at different times can have dramatically different effects. A medication dose that's safe during the day might be toxic at night, or vice versa. This is why some medications specifically require daytime or nighttime dosing for both effectiveness and safety. The water you drink, the food you eat, and even the supplements you take in the hours before bed can interact with your medications in ways that affect overnight safety. Grapefruit juice, for example, can dramatically increase blood levels of certain medications. Alcohol can amplify the effects of sleep medications and blood pressure drugs to dangerous levels. High-sodium meals can counteract blood pressure medications and worsen fluid retention during sleep. Have you ever considered how the timing of your medications might be affecting your sleep safety? Do you take multiple medications without knowing how they interact during those crucial overnight hours? This isn't just about following directions on a bottle. It's about understanding how pharmaceutical timing intersects with your natural biological rhythms to either protect or endanger your life every single night. But medication timing is just one piece of a much larger puzzle that determines overnight survival. What I'm about to share next about warning signs and symptoms will help you recognize when your body is sending desperate signals that something is wrong during those vulnerable sleeping hours. Your body sends you warning signals every single day that your overnight survival might be at risk, but most people either ignore these signals or don't recognize them as the urgent messages they truly are. Learning to identify and interpret these warnings could save your life or the life of someone you love, and I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you, because these signs often appear weeks or months before a fatal nighttime event occurs. Morning headaches are not normal, despite what many people believe. If you regularly wake up with headaches, especially if they're severe or occur most mornings, this is often your brain telling you that something went seriously wrong during your sleep. These headaches can indicate that your oxygen levels dropped dangerously low, that your blood pressure spiked repeatedly, or that your blood sugar became unstable during the night. Many people dismiss morning headaches as dehydration or stress, not realizing they're experiencing a warning sign of potentially fatal sleep disorders. Waking up, gasping for air, or feeling like you're choking is an emergency signal that should never be ignored. This symptom indicates that your breathing stopped long enough for your brain to trigger a panic response to save your life. If this happens even once, you need immediate medical evaluation. Many people who experience this dismiss it as a bad dream or anxiety, but it's actually evidence that your body experienced a life-threatening event during sleep. Excessive daytime sleepiness, especially if you fall asleep at inappropriate times or places, indicates that your sleep is not providing the restorative rest your body needs to function safely. When you're chronically sleep-deprived due to breathing problems, blood sugar instability, or other overnight issues, your risk of sudden cardiac events increases dramatically. Your heart and brain need quality sleep to repair and regenerate. Without it, they become increasingly vulnerable to failure. Night sweats that soak your clothes or bedding are often dismissed as hormonal changes or room temperature issues, but they can indicate serious underlying problems. Night sweats can signal dangerous blood sugar fluctuations, cardiovascular stress, sleep apnea episodes, or medication interactions. Your body sweats during sleep when it's fighting to maintain stability against threats to your survival. Waking up with a racing heart or palpitations is your cardiovascular system telling you that it's under extreme stress during sleep. This can happen due to sleep apnea, medication interactions, blood sugar problems, or underlying heart conditions that worsen during the vulnerable nighttime hours. Many people experience this occasionally and dismiss it, but frequent episodes indicate a serious problem that needs immediate attention. Frequent nighttime urination, especially if it's a new or worsening problem, can indicate heart failure, sleep apnea, or blood sugar disorders. When your heart struggles during sleep, it releases hormones that increase urine production. When your blood sugar is unstable, Your kidneys work overtime to process excess glucose. These aren't just inconvenient bathroom trips. They're signs that your body is fighting for survival during sleep. Restless sleep, tossing and turning, or waking up feeling like you've been in a fight all night indicates that your body never achieved the deep, restorative sleep stages necessary for health and survival. This restlessness often occurs when your body is constantly waking itself up to address breathing problems, blood sugar issues, or other threats to your well-being. Memory problems, difficulty concentrating, or personality changes can indicate that your brain isn't getting adequate oxygen or rest during sleep. Your brain requires deep sleep to function properly, and when sleep quality is compromised by breathing problems or other issues, cognitive function deteriorates. This isn't just about feeling foggy, it's evidence that your brain is being damaged night after night. Here's a question I want you to seriously consider. Have you experienced any of these warning signs? Have you noticed patterns in how you feel in the morning compared to how you felt when you went to bed? Your body is constantly communicating with you about its condition, and these nighttime and morning symptoms are urgent messages about your survival odds during sleep. But recognizing warning signs is only valuable if you understand what to do about them. And that's where many people make fatal mistakes. They either ignore the signs entirely, treat them with over-the-counter remedies, or delay seeking proper medical evaluation until it's too late. What I'm about to share with you next, about taking immediate action, could determine whether you live to see many more mornings or become another tragic statistic of preventable overnight death. Taking immediate, decisive action when you recognize these warning signs is absolutely critical, and I cannot stress enough how urgent this becomes when we're talking about your survival during sleep. Every single day that passes without addressing these issues increases your risk of not waking up, and I've seen too many cases where people delayed action just a little too long. The steps I'm about to outline could literally save your life tonight and every night going forward. The first and most crucial step is getting a comprehensive sleep study, also called a polysomnography, as soon as possible. This isn't just a simple test. It's a detailed evaluation of everything that happens in your body during sleep. During this study, medical professionals monitor your breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen levels, brain activity, and movement patterns throughout an entire night of sleep. This test can identify sleep apnea, dangerous heart rhythm abnormalities, blood oxygen problems, and other life-threatening conditions that only occur during sleep. But don't wait weeks for a sleep study appointment to start protecting yourself. There are immediate steps you can take tonight that could prevent a fatal event. First, elevate the head of your bed at least 6 inches. You can do this by placing blocks under the head of your bed frame or using a wedge pillow. This elevation helps keep your airway open, reduces the work your heart has to do, and improves circulation to your brain during sleep. If you suspect sleep apnea, sleep on your side instead of your back, and consider using a tennis ball sewn into the back of your pajama top to prevent rolling onto your back during sleep. This simple technique can dramatically reduce the severity of breathing problems for many people. However, this is only a temporary measure while you seek proper medical evaluation and treatment. Monitor your blood pressure at home, particularly in the evening before bed and first thing in the morning upon waking. This will help you and your doctor understand whether your blood pressure is dipping appropriately during sleep or remaining dangerously elevated. If your morning blood pressure is consistently higher than your evening readings, or if either reading is above 140/90, you need immediate medical attention. Check your blood sugar levels if you have any risk factors for diabetes, or if you've experienced symptoms like excessive thirst, frequent urination, or unexplained fatigue. Many people have undiagnosed diabetes or prediabetes that becomes dangerous during sleep. Home blood glucose monitors are available at any pharmacy, and checking your blood sugar before bed and upon waking can provide crucial information about your overnight stability. Review all your medications with a pharmacist or doctor, focusing specifically on timing and interactions. Ask specifically about which medications should be taken at bedtime versus in the morning, and whether any of your medications could be causing dangerous interactions during sleep. This review needs to include prescription medications, over-the-counter drugs, and supplements. Create an emergency plan for your sleeping partner or family members. They need to know the warning signs of breathing problems during sleep, how to recognize a medical emergency, and when to call for help. Immediately. Many people who experience fatal events during sleep could have been saved if their loved ones had recognized the urgency of the situation and acted quickly. If you live alone, consider investing in medical alert technology that can detect falls, unusual movement patterns, or extended periods of inactivity. Some newer systems can even monitor breathing and heart rate during sleep, alerting emergency services if dangerous changes are detected. Make your bedroom as safe as possible. Immediately. Keep a phone within reach. Ensure adequate lighting for safe movement during nighttime bathroom trips. Remove tripping hazards, and keep emergency medications like nitroglycerin or rescue inhalers easily accessible. Most importantly, don't minimize or dismiss symptoms. If you wake up gasping for air, experience chest pain during the night, have severe morning headaches, or feel like something is seriously wrong during sleep, seek emergency medical care immediately. Trust your instincts. Your body knows when it's in danger, and these feelings deserve immediate attention. Remember, if you're watching this video and clicking the like button to help others find this life-saving information, you're potentially saving lives in your community. Share this knowledge with people you care about, because they might not recognize these dangers in their own lives. But taking action to protect yourself is just the beginning of this journey towards safer sleep and longer life. What I'm about to reveal in our final discussion will show you how these overnight dangers connect to daytime habits and choices that most people never consider, creating a complete picture of how to protect yourself around the clock. Everything we've discussed about overnight survival connects directly to the choices you make during your waking hours, and understanding these connections is what separates people who live long, healthy lives from those who become statistics. Your daytime habits, stress levels, diet, exercise, and even the thoughts you think before bed all influence whether you'll survive each night safely, and mastering these connections gives you unprecedented control over your longevity and health. Your evening routine in the 4 hours before bedtime has a profound impact on your overnight survival odds. Eating large meals, consuming alcohol, or engaging in intense exercise close to bedtime creates physiological stress that continues throughout your sleep. Heavy meals force your digestive system to work overtime when it should be resting, potentially affecting blood sugar stability and heart function during sleep. Alcohol might help you fall asleep initially, but it disrupts sleep architecture, worsens breathing problems, and can cause dangerous interactions with medications. The stress you carry from your day doesn't magically disappear when you close your eyes. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, increases inflammation, raises blood pressure, and disrupts the delicate hormonal balance necessary for safe sleep. People who go to bed angry, worried, or stressed have higher rates of heart attacks and strokes during sleep. This is why developing evening relaxation routines isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Your hydration status affects overnight safety in ways most people never consider. Going to bed dehydrated thickens your blood, making dangerous clots more likely and forcing your heart to work harder during sleep. However, drinking too much fluid before bed can lead to frequent nighttime urination, disrupting the deep sleep stages necessary for cardiovascular recovery. The timing and amount of fluid intake requires careful balance for optimal overnight safety. Physical fitness during your waking hours directly correlates with sleep safety. Regular cardiovascular exercise strengthens your heart, improves circulation, helps regulate blood pressure, and enhances your body's ability to use oxygen efficiently during sleep. However, people who are completely sedentary have significantly higher risks of sleep apnea, blood pressure problems, and sudden cardiac death during sleep. The medications you take during the day can affect your overnight safety hours later. Some medications cause delayed reactions that peak during sleep hours. Others interact with your natural circadian rhythms in ways that become dangerous only during specific sleep stages. Even the timing of caffeine consumption can affect heart rate and blood pressure patterns that persist into sleep. Room lighting in the hours before bed affects melatonin production, which influences not just sleep quality, but also cardiovascular function, immune system activity, and cellular repair processes during sleep. Exposure to blue light from screens disrupts these natural rhythms, potentially making overnight dangers more likely. Your social connections and emotional state also influence overnight survival. People who feel isolated, depressed, or anxious have higher rates of sudden death during sleep. This isn't just correlation. Loneliness and depression cause measurable changes in heart rate variability, immune function, and stress hormone levels that become dangerous during the vulnerable sleep period. Understanding these connections empowers you to make choices throughout your day that protect you throughout the night. Every meal choice, every stress management decision, every moment of physical activity, and every interaction with others becomes part of your overnight survival strategy. But here's what I want you to understand above all else. You are not powerless against these overnight dangers. Knowledge is protection, awareness is prevention, and action is survival. Every person watching this video has the power to dramatically reduce their risk of becoming another tragic statistic of preventable overnight death. If this information has opened your eyes to dangers you didn't know existed, please share it with others who need to hear it. Subscribe to this channel, because what we'll explore next week about the hidden daytime factors that predict overnight survival will complete this life-saving picture and give you even more tools to protect yourself and those you love. Your life literally depends on understanding these connections, and there's so much more critical information that could determine whether you see your next birthday.